Notice anything different? That's right, I got a new t-shirt. I also got a new tattoo on my ankle. And to avoid suspense, I'm going to throw a picture of it right there. Bam, 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 bam. I gave myself a tattoo. Full disclaimer, I do not condone or encourage what I have done. I don't think you should give yourself a tattoo at home if you're not professionally trained and if you don't have professional equipment. I am not encouraging you to do that. I'm just saying I did that. So I might as well make a video about it. So about 4 weeks ago, I gave myself a tattoo with a kit I bought off Amazon. That is just really the cherry on top. I wouldn't have given myself a tattoo if I haven't gotten tattoos before. Obviously, I've got a couple. I've got a big one on my thigh. So like, I'm pretty familiar with the routine of it, right? Of getting a tattoo. Obviously, of not giving a tattoo. It's the first time I've given anyone a tattoo. But I've definitely practiced with thick skin and with a grapefruit. I wish I still had that grapefruit. I threw it away, but I tattooed all over it. I even tattooed My Little Pony. And then it became petrified. And then I threw it away because it had been a little while. It was sitting on my desk. It was like a month, and I was like, I should probably throw away this tattooed, petrified grapefruit. So I did. I'll get into my whole process of doing it and some of the products I used. But first and foremost, if you've never gotten a tattoo before, let me tell you what that's like. Basically, you walk up to the shop, you present your design, maybe your artist has a design, maybe you pick a design from a book. Either way, you got your design, you sit down in a chair, your artist makes sure that everything is all wiped down and clean. They put on their gloves and make everything's all wrapped and clean, and it's got to be a super sterile environment. That was something I was really adamant about when I gave myself a tattoo. I made sure everything was very clean, all wrapped up. I mean, you're literally like creating a wound and on your skin for bacteria to be drawn to. So everything's got to be very sterile. So they wash you, they shave you, wash you again. They take a stencil of your design, they slap it on you, and they just get going. You start with line art, then coloring, shading, coloring, whatever. And then bada boom, bada bam, you got a tattoo. They make sure you're all nice and moist with good lotion, and then they put some sort of plastic wrap on you to keep your tattoo safe. You got that tattoo nice and wrapped up for at least a couple hours before you can decide to take it off, or if they use a nice wrap, then you can keep it on for a couple days, sometimes a week. Once that comes off, you wash it, you lotion it all the time. Nice and lotioned, nice and moist. This is what I like to use, tattoo goo. It works pretty well. And, and then you got a tattoo that can never come off your body. It's permanent. So anyway, because I'm pretty familiar with the routine, I felt pretty comfortable doing it myself, and I made sure I had all sorts of, alcohol spray, stuff like that. And I'll show some of the products that I used as well. Of course, used gloves. I used saran wrap all over everything. I made sure things was very clean. I was also like pretty familiar with the pain, so I wasn't super concerned about not not being able to inflict pain on myself using said tattoo gun. Again, I don't condone or encourage doing this. Time to just get into what I did. And I also want to give a disclaimer that the design that I tattooed on myself, it was just something I found on Pinterest. I looked around, I searched around on Pinterest, and I couldn't find where the design originally came from. If any of you happen to know, or if any of you happen to find out, you can comment that and I'll give that person due credit. If I were to join the workforce of tattoo artists, I wouldn't feel comfortable making money off of someone else's design. So this is something like I would tattoo someone else's design on someone else. I just did it on myself as practice because I'm not making money off of it, whatever. So anyway, it's not my design, but I figured it was good, it was easy, it was small, and it was something I wouldn't mind having on my ankle for the rest of my life. Anyway, I gave myself a tattoo. It was about 4 weeks ago now. And what I've heard is in about 4 to 5 weeks is when you can start to tell whether you went too light or too deep when you press in to do the tattoo, because that's a big part of it is pressure of course, finding out how deep the needle goes into the skin. Looking at my tattoo, there are some parts that were pretty good, and I think I was relatively consistent, but it's a little too light. So, which is nice because if you put too much pressure and the needle goes in too deep, then actually as your tattoo ages, it will become a blob and the ink will like spread out, and then that's not cool. So I'm actually, obviously, I'm a lot happier than that I went too light versus going too deep. And I'm within maybe another month or so, I'll probably actually just touch it up for more practice and just to see if I can get it to look a little better than the way it looks now. So, how I did it, of course. I used a wormhole tattoo kit on Amazon. And it's not even a real tattoo gun, it's like a tattoo pen, which pretty similar, still not a gun. I'll show you right now. This, it says wormhole on it. This is what I used. I plugged it in right here. I put the needle in right there. I honestly, the kit came with everything I needed, including, well, it only came with like one pair of gloves, so I need more of those. And it came with one fake skin, so I bought more of those as well. But it came with just about everything I needed. A lot of needles, all the colors I could possibly need. But I've only been practicing with black. I haven't been practicing with other colors. And when I ran out of needles, I just bought more from the exact same. I just looked up the wormhole needles when I got more. So I don't know. It's really very convenient. It's just, it's not ideal to use on humans. Now, green soap, I did research. Green soap is, I think, like the preferred, the best kind of cleaning solution that you'd want for your skin. And it was super moisturizing. I think it's soft soap. Yeah, it is soft soap. So it was super moisturizing. And it actually, what I've heard from my tattoo artist, and I could be uh, putting this wrong, but when your skin is nice and moisturized, and this is also why tattoo artists like use Vaseline, it's the skin, the ink doesn't, what's it called? Smear as easy. So as you tattoo, and if the skin is moisturized, then when you take a wipe to wipe it away, right, it's not smeared all over the place. You kind of get a nice wipe, so then you can see the tattoo pretty clearly. So this works super well. I washed myself with this. I shaved, of course, my ankle, and then I washed myself with it again, and then I started drawing. I just free-handled it with this this skin marker. It's got a ruler on the other side. And the nice thing about these markers, I literally got everything off of Amazon also. So, but the nice thing about this is it's immediately sterile. I probably wouldn't use this on anyone else, even though I used it on my own clean skin. I probably wouldn't use it on anyone else other than myself again. Just because might as well rather be safe than sorry, right? Plug in your needle to your pen, plug the pen in to this. So this, when I turn it on, it has an L for line, an S for shade, and then it has these plus or minus buttons for like the power. And this is the tattoo power supply. Again, it came in the wormhole kit. The power supply, I believe I used about 6.0 or I probably used 7.0 to do my line art. So the tattoo I gave myself, obviously it was just line art, wasn't any shading, but I think that's what I gave it. I made the power 7.0 because I've heard, I also watched a lot of videos, I read a lot of articles, I did some research before giving myself a tattoo. I didn't just jump right into it. So, and that's what I've heard is standard 7.0. I think it was 6.5 to 7.0 about. So I went at it. It really didn't hurt that bad at all, except for as I got like further down closer to my foot. Hurt a little worse. I took numerous breaks just so I could spray myself with alcohol spray like over and over again because I was freaked out. I did bleed quite a bit, which is interesting because I feel like the end result didn't look like I went deep enough. So maybe I did go deep enough. Maybe I went too deep. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like I bled a lot more than I have in the past. So I hope I'm okay. I heard this story once of this guy who like got a tattoo and then he swam in a lake a couple weeks later and died. That's my worst fear. It freaks me out so bad. Hey, that's something you should never do. Give yourself a tattoo and go swim in a lake. Or the ocean, maybe. Lakes are kind of gross, though. Lakes are pretty dirty. Anyway, as I give myself a tattoo, I use plastic wrap all over my thigh, lifted up my left leg, put my ankle on my thigh, and just went at it tattooing. And then, of course, I wrapped it up in plastic when I was all done. I sprayed my leg down a whole bunch with alcohol spray, and then I actually cleaned it again with the green soap. And green soap, by the way, it's just a solution you mix with water. I don't put this directly on my skin. You mix it with water, and I use like a squeeze bottle all over it, so it's super convenient. Use a bunch of paper towels as well. So when I was all done, I cleaned it up. I wrapped it up in plastic. I used masking tape to because I couldn't find duct tape anywhere in the house, to tie down the plastic wrap, to keep the plastic wrap on. I used masking tape. And I was a little freaked out at first, of course, like, and that was late at night. So then I went to bed almost immediately after. Like, I cleaned up my desk and everything, put everything away, and I went right to bed. And I was a little freaked out because I'm like, it kind of hurts. Like, it itches in a way like my tattoos haven't itched before. And I woke up in the morning and, I took off the plastic wrap and I washed it all. And I was a little worried that like it got infected immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, I took all these proper precautions. But it turns out my skin was just reacting bad to the masking tape. And the masking tape gave me a rash. And that was kind of funny. I'm happy to report that it worked out well for me. Again, don't condone or encourage anyone to do this. But also, people all the time give themselves piercings at home. I got my doubles pierced by my older brother's friend in her dorm room. I know my boyfriend, his stepsister pierced his ears, even pierced his nostril. And people give themselves stick and pokes all the time. I will say, of course, the tattoo gun, or it's technically a pen, tattoo pen, it's just more dangerous. You're doing a lot more than a single prick or than a couple pricks. Sanitation is, of course, the top priority when it came to that. And let me tell you something, okay? I will not disclose whether or not I will give myself another tattoo with the wormhole tattoo pen. So one last thing, actually, if you watch this video and you feel encouraged to do it yourself, I will just say everyone reacts differently to different things. All skin is different, right? So before you give yourself a tattoo, sometimes your skin will react poorly to the ink. So just tattoo a line of ink or tattoo like a circle or whatever it might be, just to see, and wait a couple weeks to see how your skin reacts to the ink. Play it safe. Again, though, I wouldn't have given myself a tattoo if I haven't gotten tattoos before and if I wasn't already familiar with the experience. Definitely don't let your first tattoo be a tattoo that you give yourself from a tattoo kit on Amazon. And hey, don't let your friend give you your first tattoo from a tattoo kit on Amazon, right? Okay. I think I said all I needed to say now. Isn't my shirt cool though? Sonic the Hedgehog? I think I'm gonna cut it. Like, I don't know if I want to cut it. Like, I think I might do that. Cut it just right up there. Take off the sleeves, and then show off the guns for the summer. Okay. Thank you for watching.